Fourth graders, Mrs. Kachillas here. I'm hoping that you're all doing well and you're safe, you're healthy. So this week we're going to start a brand new module for our new instruction week for ELA. It is called Animal Defense Mechanisms. Before I get into this and I show you all the materials and get started, we're actually going to read a poem from Forest Has a Song. It is by Amy Ludwig Vanderwater. She actually came to our school a couple of years ago. Maybe you were in kindergarten or first grade. It was a while ago. This is going to go along with animals, that's why I chose it, but also it's going to go along with Mrs. Kenyon. Miss Kenyon is teaching you all about poetry, so I thought we could relate the two just to introduce. This one's called Home. A rotten log is home to bug, home to beetle, home to slug, home to chipmunk, home to bee, a lively living hidden home inside a fallen tree. It's just a beautiful short little poem, and if you notice there's a repeating line: home to bee, home to bug, home to beetle, home to slug, home to chipmunk, home to bee. It's a repeating line all about how a home, this log right here, is a home to all these different animals. What is another word for a home? Well, if you said habitat, you are correct. Another word for a home is a habitat for animals. It's the place that they live. So this log right here is just a home to all these different animals. So it's just a short, sweet little poem that you could write about anything that you notice outside. All right. These are the materials that you're going to be using for the Animal Defense Mechanism module. This is the read aloud book called Venom. Looks kind of scary. We have another book. There's a interesting creature on here, some sort of a lizard. Some of you know all about that. And this is the journal you would have had if you would have been in school, but what we're going to do is all the materials I'll just be putting up on the internet. So this term, animal defense mechanism, it's quite the word here. We've got three different words. So the first word in the term defense mechanism, defense, means to protect yourself or keep something or someone from getting hurt. Okay, so if you are trying to defend yourself, you're protecting yourself. And then the word mechanism is a natural reaction or in response to something else. So it's just a natural reaction. So now we're going to put the two together. Defense mechanism means how animals react to or protect themselves from harm. Think about a ladybug, right? A ladybug looks pretty, it's black, it's red. You think, it's such a cute little bug. But really, a ladybug, not only is it red and black because it's trying to warn other animals not to touch it and not to eat it, but also, if perhaps an animal eats a ladybug, maybe another insect, another bug, a lizard, it actually gives off, and it oozes off a yellowish, like a oozy substance, a liquid comes out of its legs, and it poisons the animal that eats it. It gives such a bad taste in their mouth that the animal, the lizard, for example, will never ever eat that ladybug again. So that's just an example, a simple example of a natural animal defense mechanism that a ladybug would have. It's trying to survive and keep animals away from it so it doesn't die. All right, so let me just show you real quick what I have on my computer, what you're going to be seeing for your resources. So on the website, there's some vocab cards. You'll be using these all throughout this entire unit because I do understand the vocab is a little bit tricky. So there's just a bunch of words. If you don't have a printer, it's okay. You can just scan through, and if you're having trouble with the word, you can see what it means. Okay. The other thing, you're going to see this graphic organizer that I'm going to talk about, and you're going to see today. Yes, the first part is done for you, but today we're going to read about bees and wasps. So this will be part of your work this week. And then the last thing, I scanned in the articles you're going to need for today's independent work for the week. The week's independent work on bees and wasps. So these pages are taken right out of here. I apologize, they're not in color. I do want to show you real quick. So the first page scanned beautifully. The second page got a little wonky, but then it's actually correct on the third page. So don't just give up on the second page. It's actually correct right here. And then you're going to read all about the wasps. There's 2 pages on wasps. Okay, so there's 5 total, but really it's 2 and 2. And then there's that page that was incorrectly put on there. All right, just so you know what you have. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the Venom book, and we're going to read about the introduction just to get you excited, get you going, and we're going to read all about different animal defense mechanisms. Don't eat, don't touch, just don't. All over the world, there are animals that can hurt or kill you with a bite, a stab, a sting, or a spit, and others that can hurt or kill if you bite them. These creatures can be found in many habitats. They ride the waves, they hide in the sand, they coil around branches, they buzz around the garden, they even sleep in your closet. Ugh. And every one of them is toxic. Some animals are poisonous. They can make you sick if you eat them or if you absorb their toxins through your skin. They use their poison purely as self-defense against predators, and that includes people. Sometimes a poisonous critter tastes bad enough to make a predator spit it right out. If your dog or you were to bite a toxic toad, yuck. But sample some pufferfish, and chances are you wouldn't even know that you could be consuming a poison that might kill you. Ugh. The most famed toxic critters are venomous. This means that they must inject their poison or their venom into a victim by means of fangs, teeth, spines, stingers, or spurs. These creatures include snakes, spiders, jellyfish, bees, wasps, scorpions, and a bunch of less familiar animals. But believe it or not, if they can avoid it, none of these creatures wants to waste their venom on inedible you. Ooh, inedible meaning you cannot eat it. All right, so in this article we just read about poisonous animals or animals that have poison, and the word venomous, which means they're injecting poison or venom into an animal. So take a look at this. This is a little fun activity. I'm going to go through the animals, and then you're going to decide which one you think is poisonous. So let's look at the first two animals. Do you think it's an American toad or a bullfrog? Which one do you think is poisonous? Okay, if you said an American toad, you are correct. That is a poisonous animal. Okay, a chuckwalla or a red-spotted newt. Which one do you think is poisonous? Well, if you said a red-spotted newt, you are correct. The next one you all should get right. Is it a ladybug or a cricket? Which one's poisonous? And you are right. It is a ladybug. A sailfish or a pufferfish? And again, if you were listening to the article I just read, it talked about the pufferfish. Pufferfish are actually very poisonous. Could kill you. And then the last one, a hooded pitochu or a ring-necked pheasant. Which one do you think is poisonous? Well, it is the hooded Pikachu. All right, nice job. And we're going to read more about those animals in this text. Look at this picture. Ooh, if looks could kill, they wouldn't need poison. Well, one reason animals use venom is to catch prey. Insects, rodents, fish, small mammals, and even others of their own kind. People are too big to be food for venomous animals. However, if by accident or on purpose we harm these creatures, they will strike back to protect themselves. Self-defense is a second major reason that animals use venom. A third reason is defense of their community, family, or community. How dangerous a poisonous or venomous animal is to humans depends on how strong its toxins are, how much of them get into you, and how your body reacts to them. Remember, everybody, their bodies react differently. Think about a bee sting. You're going to find out a little fact in there, but only 1 in 1,000 people, I believe the fact is, actually are, they're affected by bee stings. They're allergic to bee stings. So it depends on how your body reacts. All right, take a look at the pictures here. We have a platypus, we have a lion mane jellyfish, we have a black widow spider, a lionfish, a scorpion, a rattlesnake, and a honeybee. You're going to try to figure out which one, which of the animals here matches the stinger. So there's single stingers, fangs, spines, spurs, or multiple stingers. So there's 2 on here that have 1 stinger, just a single stinger. Well, if you chose the scorpion and the honeybee, you are correct. All right, how about fangs? I think that's an easy one. There are 2 on here that have fangs. Well, if you just chose the black widow spider, yes, and the rattlesnake, both of them have fangs. their natural animal defense mechanisms. All right, a spine. There's only one on here with a spine as their defense mechanism, and that is a lionfish. Okay, and then a spur. There's only one on here that has spurs to defend themselves, and that's a platypus. And then the last one on here, and there's only one. One of these has multiple stingers, meaning it has stingers, many, 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 that could kill the other animal that they're trying to defend. And that is a lion's mane jellyfish. Okay, you can actually see there are a lot of stingers on that animal. Okay, all right. So this book, I think, really got you going and got you interested, I hope. So what we're about to do is I'm going to now have you pause. I'm going to have you click on the bee article. There's 2 pages of text on bees, pages 16 and 17. I'm going to have you read all about the bees. All right, so go ahead and do that right now. All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed reading all about bees. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you click on the graphic organizer that's already filled out for you, or if you are not able to print, no big deal, then just do some scrap work on a piece of paper. So this is what's already been done for you. As you read, you hopefully realized that bees have different examples. We're going to write down the examples that they have to protect themselves, and then how they survive. That's what this graphic organizer is trying to have you write down. So for bees, if you read over here, it's talking all about how they have a barbed stinger and it sticks into the victim, and then it keeps pumping out the venom. So it's like got a hook to it, and it just keeps pumping it out. So I wrote that down, and then over here, this is how they survive. So I took that information and then I tried to figure out how they survive from it. Well, the venom from the sting of the bee is really painful to scare away predators. So just having that stinger scares away predators because they remember it. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing I found very interesting about bees from the notes from our article is that they have chemical signals called alarm pheromones. Okay, and what that is they have this automatic chemical that comes off of their body, and it warns the hive of danger. And then the rest of the bees are then able to attack if necessary. So they have this automatic chemical that just comes off when they're in danger. That's their defense mechanism. And that chemical goes to the beehive, the other bees, and they can, help protect them. They can all come in a big group and swarm them and protect that bee. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do now that you know how to set this up for the bees, you're now going to read all about the wasps. And the wasps are all about on page 19 and 20, which are also scanned. And again, this article is 2 pages, and I just want to show you real quick. So it says wasps waisted meaning your waist, like on your pants. And there's a little blurb about bees. I think you'll find that interesting. So wasp waisted. And then on the back, I don't want you to think I scanned the wrong article. So it says, it ain't an ant. All right. Now, when I looked at this right away, I thought, oh, I'm looking at the wrong page, but we're not. So I'm going to read the first 2 sentences. It says, it looks like a hairy ant. It crawls on the ground like a hairy ant, but the velvet ant is actually a solitary wasp. This is a wasp, even though it looks like an ant. Okay. So I want you to read all about the wasp. You're not reading this section right here, just so you know. This is for the next part. Okay. So after you read all about the wasps, then I'm going to have you fill in. There are 3 different examples of how they protect themselves, the wasps, and then there's 3 ways that they're surviving, the wasps. So, and they're going to correlate. All right. Once you're done with that, I'm going to have you reread the bee article, reread the wasp article, and then you're going to write down just some fun facts you learned about the bees and the wasps. Let's do 2 for the bees, 2 for the wasps. And then the last thing you're going to do to complete your assignment for the week, now remember, this is for the entire week. You're learning about bees and wasps. You're going to write a summary. So at least 5 sentences or more, writing about how the bees and the wasps, what this is all about. And then don't forget your conclusion statement at the end. Okay, so maybe do 2 sentences about what you learned about the bees, what you learned about the wasps, and then wrap it up. Okay, so remember, this is for the whole week. All right, so in addition to this, also make sure you're reading your chapter books and your magazine articles and all your nonfiction books, and you're taking AR quizzes. We are now at that halfway point in April, so you should be about halfway through your points. All right, and every week we can check that, and we've been giving the information to your families, to your parents, and your guardians, how far you are along with your points. Don't forget also to make sure that you're doing at least 3 lessons on iReady. Okay. And then the last fun thing is, since we're learning so much about animals, I'm hoping you're going outside. I know the weather's been, kind of up and down, but hopefully you're going to be able to get out there this week. While you're out on a walk, maybe take a look around you. Look for, now that you've learned about a ladybug, look for a bee or a wasp, and maybe other animals that might have natural animal defense mechanisms that you're going to start to notice now that you're learning about what that term is and exactly what it means. All right. Have a great week. Be safe out there. We miss you. We love you guys. Take care.